Are you looking for a sweetener that's easier to use and healthier than regular table sugar?
Well, today on WTF, we're going to learn all about isomalt, everything from garnishes to pastries. Hello and welcome to WTF, where we transform food here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott Guerin.
And I'm Janie Wang, the owner of Modernist Pantry. Today, Scott and I are doing an episode that's all about isomalt, which is a popular invert sugar that a lot of people love to use. And we're going to have 3 really exciting demos for you, so definitely stick around. We're going to show you how to make a garnish with isomalt, as well as some other fun little garnishes we made. We're going to show you how to melt isomalt, which is a very popular question that we get here in the test kitchen. And then last but not least, we're going to show you how to make some delicious pastries with the help of isomalt. So Scott, let's kick off today by maybe a brief explanation of what exactly is an invert sugar.
So an invert sugar is a sugar that you can melt without crystallization. Also has a low glycemic index, so it's good for, it doesn't promote tooth decay. It's good for people with diabetes or even make candy making for diabetics.
Yeah, and for isomalt in particular, how sweet is it in comparison to regular table sugar?
So if we take regular table sugar as 100%, this is about 45 to 65% as sweet as regular table sugar. So slightly less sweet, but still gives you all the benefits of a sugar, and you still get a sweet flavor from it.
Okay, and I think probably we'll get to it in the demo, but we definitely do always get a lot of questions about how do you use it, what exactly is it for, do I just swap it in one-to-one for regular table sugar?
So I wouldn't suggest, pouring isomalt into your coffee. It's not a direct replacement for sugar like that. But if you are doing it in candy making or you're doing it in pastries, yes, you can replace you can replace the sugar, the granulated sugar, with the isomalt and melt it.
Awesome. And I know that you planned some super exciting demos. Let's jump right into them.
Yes.
What's the first one we're going to do?
So isomalt's cool because, like I said before, it doesn't crystallize. So you can make all sorts of really great different garnishes, and you can drop it down in temperature and reheat it and not have to worry about it seizing or anything like that.
Okay.
So what I did is I took isomalt and I added a little bit of red food coloring just to make it really pretty, and I heated it up to 338 degrees, where generally table sugar would start to caramelize. It would start to turn brown at around 338 degrees, but isomalt doesn't. So it's crystal clear. It doesn't have any of that brown color. I added the red to really make it beautiful.
Yep.
Now I'm going to take a cranberry, and I've lowered this down to about 260 degrees, which works really great for these cranberries. I just dip it in and roll it around, if I can get it to roll around. The isomalt is very viscous at this point. And what I do, and you don't want to stick your fingers in it because it is still very warm, is I just take it and I put it into a box that I have stuck some styrofoam in so that when it goes in, it doesn't bounce around.
Okay.
And this will start to drip, as we can see. And if you allow it to just keep dripping, it'll start to bow. So I just snip it a few times, and then you can make these really perfect little strands like this. So if I wanted to garnish something with this beautiful cranberry, it has that nice,
Ooh, yeah.
right? You get a little bit of height out of it. You can do this with almonds. You can do this with comfy kumquats, a bunch of different things. But if I take this sugar and then I bring it down to around 190 degrees, I can actually pick it up. Granted, I have chef hands, so they're made of cast iron pretty much. But if you want to throw on a couple of rubber gloves, then you can pick it up and you can make all sorts of great garnishes like this twirl. What you do is you take, now I have there we go. So this really nice spiral here.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and all you do is, when you're able to pick it up, it's really a viscosity thing. We found that the temperature is 190 degrees Fahrenheit. You're able to pick it up and you can wrap it around a cylindrical thing. We used a kitchen steel that we cleaned and we oiled. So we can put the sugar around it. It literally slides off just like a perfect coil.
Okay.
You could also pick it up with a spoon. You can drizzle it onto some paper. You can make a garnish like this, which is really nice. It adds a nice crisp. You can inlay with something. I wouldn't necessarily suggest red sugar with pistachios, but we did it just for show, so you can see different things that you can do. Also, a bit old school, but we're able to take it and we put it inside of a ladle, and we dribble it inside of a ladle, and then you can put it over if I wanted to put it over one of these, you can garnish it like that. So
Right.
a lot of fun things you can do, and you don't have to worry about your sugar seizing on you.
Right. So kind of when you're working with it, it's going to hold the shape as soon as it comes in contact with a cold surface.
Yeah,
That's what's
that 190 degrees
Okay.
works really well because it's just barely solid, and it's just barely liquid. So you're able to pick it up. It's pretty pliable, and then you can drizzle it or do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, that looks really fun.
And as we can see, the one I just made is ready to go. It's set. It's gorgeous. And the heat from that sugar actually cooks the cranberry I used. So it's not just a raw cranberry. You do get a little bit of a nicer texture from the cranberry on the inside. And it's sweet, so it's going to counteract that bitterness and the acidity of the cranberry
That
itself.
sounds really fun. I would put that around an M&M.
Okay, yes, that'd be awesome. Double candy coated shell.
Yes.
So I'm going to get rid of this and I'm going to start a second demo because I really need to get a little bit of fresh sugar made to show off our next ingredient. And this is a question that a lot of people have is, how do I melt isomalt? Right? So melting isomalt is different than melting traditional sugar.
Okay, why is that?
I don't have to add water.
Okay.
And that's a big thing, is usually you have to add water to sugar, which then breaks it down into a liquid form. You reduce off all the water, and then you're just cooking the sugar. With isomalt, I can take this, and the benefit of an invert sugar is I can pour it directly into this pan, heat it to that 338 degrees we talked about,
Okay.
and then I'm able to use it right then. Dry pan, dry isomalt. And I want to show, you can just see, they're like little granules, much bigger than a kosher salt granule,
Yep.
much bigger than a table sugar or table salt granule. So people see this and they think, it's starting to clump or whatnot. No, that's just how it is. It's this little crystalline form. So I'm going to pour this into the pan. We're going to melt it down, and then we can move on to our next demo.
Very cool.
So that took about a minute to 2 minutes to melt down. And what I want to do is I want to take these really nice cream puffs that I made. I'm going to fill them with the pistachio curd, and then I'm going to dunk them in the isomalt. And while that isomalt is still hot, I'm going to transfer it to some crushed pistachios that we made.
Ooh.
So you get that, the texture of the pistachio, and then you get this really nice crunch from the isomalt. And it's crystal clear, so you can see the beauty of the cream puff still. So let me just fill this with my pistachio curd. All the recipes can be found at blog.modernistpantry.com. I'm pretty generous with how I fill them as well. Why not, right?
Or curd.
Yes. So I heated just enough isomalt so I can do this, but the recipe will have the correct amount of isomalt. Okay. And I use a toothpick just to be able to get it in there without having to put my fingers into hot sugar, because sugar burns are terrible. So I let it sit in there for just a second as that isomalt sets up. I remove the toothpick. In about 30 seconds, I can take it off. Yeah, that's pretty good. Less than 30 seconds, but still. Great. Let that cool completely. The rest of them are finished. So, Janie, if you wanted to eat one,
Yes,
you absolutely could.
Is it this one?
Let's start with these front
Ooh,
ones.
okay.
Yeah, these front ones are nice.
Yeah, and kind of while I'm eating this, so one of the things that people also sometimes do, they'll mix isomalt with sugar to kind of do a blend.
Yeah, yep.
Why do people do that?
Well, like I said before, it's an invert sugar, so when you add that to regular sugar, it's actually going to give you the benefits of an invert sugar. So you're not going to have the crystallization. You still have to add a little bit of water because you do want that sugar to break down into a liquid before it starts to heat. And you can add the isomalt to that. You don't have to worry about it. If you add water to isomalt, it's not going to hurt it. It's just going to take a lot longer because you have to get rid of that water before the isomalt will start to cook.
Right.
So it just works the same with sugar, and it gives the added benefit of not having to worry about it seizing up if you have your back turned, if you're doing other work.
Right. And if, like, worst case scenario, someone's heating isomalt and they forget about it, is there a certain point at which, you will burn it?
Yeah, so it does eventually start to caramelize. That Maillard reaction will start to happen. And you don't want to go above 375 degrees. But if you have a candy thermometer and you monitor it, you should be fine. This is at 338 degrees, and it looks like there's almost nothing in the pan. It's crystal clear.
Yep.
Up around 375, you'll get that dark caramelization. Around 400, it's going to eventually burn. And then you'll know when it burns. There'll be a lot of smoke.
Okay.
Yes.
And then if you do have some extra left over and you're like, I'm just going to leave it, and I want to reheat it the next day for another project, can you do that?
Yeah, you can. I would definitely suggest putting it, if you have a lot in here, you can pour it into a metal pan and then right into an ice bath. If you wanted to keep it in the same pan, say you just needed it, on and off the heat, you could just do that. I could take this pan, reheat it back up, and then glaze another cream puff if I needed to.
Speaking of cream puffs, this is delicious. I love pistachio, so anything with pistachio is amazing, but this is super yummy.
Yeah, so definitely check out those recipes on the blog. We'll have recipes for the curd, the pistachio to make the cream puffs, and the entire pistachio cream puff recipe will all be on the blog.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for watching, because I'm still eating. Our episode all about Isomalt, so hopefully now you're inspired to go and do some cool garnishes, make some cool pastries, and just really have fun with it. So from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie Wang.
And I'm Scott Garrett. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you want these great recipes and these awesome ingredients, first you're going to have to like, comment, and subscribe. And then you're going to go to blog.modernistpantry.com where you can find those awesome recipes and you can ask a chef. And to get these great ingredients, go to modernistpantry.com. And until next time, we'll be here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen helping you transform food.